why the fuck Spy X Family isn't working anymore?
Okay. Well, honestly, it's just boring. I'm gonna be completely honest. It's boring. I had to realize. I know you guys made a whole video shitting on shonen and saying like slice of life beats shonen. I don't know if Red still feels that way, but
I
me
mean, he
personally,
gave fucking Suicide Squad a 6 out of 10, Thurman. I
the
think
new one
he's
or the new
the
one or
new
the
one. He had a tweet about it. I didn't like it, didn't retweet it. I just saw it there and I stared at him like, I see you. You get out of my feed.
I
No.
have to watch it. I have to watch. I heard it was. I heard it. Someone said it's not better than. My brother says it's not better than the first one, but
It most
you know,
certainly is better than the first one.
I heard if I was like, if it's not better than the first one, that shit it must be dog shit. Because
No, it is
the first
100%.
one, it was ass. But
It was. It was. I can say that as a DC fan. It was.
so it's just like to me, I'm legitimately curious.
It's a lot more bloody. It's a lot
Yeah.
of. It's James Gunn doing it, the dude that directed the fucking Guardians of the Galaxy movies. But before that, he did a lot of shit for Trauma. And me being a B movie guy, I'm like, this is old him.
I'm curious about so back to the Spy X. So
Yeah.
the whole slice of life thing, I don't mind it. I like slice of life, but Spy X has just become boring.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about it, like, it's not like I have to be honest. I don't care for her feelings. Like, it's just like I haven't really been enjoying it lately.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been a chore to read, and I hate that. Not much of not much of like plot. Like it takes too long for plot to go through.
What plot has really went through? The last plot thing that's happened was they got that thing from the tennis tournament.
Yeah, and
That was 3 arcs ago, by the way.
like it's been fine and dandy. Like the art's still fire, like the moments are still adorable, but it's just like it feels like nothing has been happening in a series that like
50 things have happened, but nothing has happened.
yeah, like because I know Luke wants me to compare it to Yos Fam, which one I like better. I think Yos Fam. Honestly, I can't even give it a fair comparison because Yos Fam is weekly and Spy X is bi-weekly, so it's just like and like they're
A more fair comparison would be Yos Fam and Sakamoto Days.
yeah, their setups are different. Yeah, I agree with that. Their setups are different. Like Yos Fam and Spy X are at the basis fundamentally different because like Yos Fam is more of like the shonen like arc sort of thing. Like Yos Fam was started off as like a Hitman Reborn type of series where it was like not necessarily gag. Well, I mean, Hitman Reborn was especially gag, but like it was more so like comedy with like a little bit of like Adventure of the Week type shit until like shit hit off, and then now we had like arcs and whatnot like back to the shonen formula that a lot of people know. And while Spy X has always been that not necessarily Adventure of the Week, but sort of like an arc thing, but I think it's taking too long for me. Like, it's only a matter of time I can take. Like, there's only a certain amount of lovey-dovey your fake, like Anya moments that I can really take. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying rush it, but like my itch isn't being like is an itch that's not being scratched, and so like I think Spy X is more of a series that's better to binge than to read weekly.
Yeah.
Weekly, it's a chore, 100%. And I feel that way. I feel that way about a lot of certain arcs. And that's why when people ask me, like, I had this conversation with Red about what I like more, JJK or Bleach, and I was like, I like to judge a series after it's ended because your opinion of a series will change if you read it weekly or if you read it all in one go. Like
As somebody that read the Fullbringer arc fucking weekly, this is a 100% fact.
Yeah,
You cannot debate this.
I think I think a good example is Black Clover. Witch's Forest arc is considerably the worst arc in the series.
Oh,
Tabata, I
Thurman.
don't know what Tabata must have been heartbroken or something, or he must have not been
He
enough
didn't
sleep.
get any
Like,
action those weeks.
I'm sorry. I love my man's, but Witch's Forest was not it at all. Um, but reading that shit, I read that shit weekly, and that shit was a fucking bore weekly. Okay, like that shit was awful to read weekly, mind
Yeah.
you.
Luke's saying the
But
tournament arc in Black Clover was a chore.
like I like reading that shit weekly, but like there's a lot of shit that I read weekly. You know, it's just like like comparatively to um like something that would be more fun to read. Like I guarantee, which is Forest arc could probably be more enjoyable reading it, binging it than
Oh, it was pretty easy to get through binging.
yeah.
Like,
And I'm just like, I think that's what Spy X is. I think Spy X is more of like a binge series rather than like read weekly. But I don't see it ending anytime soon. But
no, they're marketing the fuck out of the series. It is here for the long haul.
yeah, so like I think that's what it is. Because like I was saying, like I like the Dutch series based off of like that's why like when One Piece when it eventually ends, I'm going to, instead of just saying like the series like 10 out of 10, I want to reread the series. I know, blasphemy, from the start and go from there, because reading a series weekly is different from like, you're gonna be hyped about a series weekly, but if you go back and like read it, binge it, maybe something you thought was hype wasn't so hype after all. You know, like that adrenaline calms you down. So, because for me, I went back and I reread some of the arcs from Black Clover, and I was like, yeah, I know I love this series because I'm still enjoying it just like I read it for the first time. It was the same. It was the same with a few other series too, like JJK. When I reread the flashback arc for JJK, I was just like, yeah, I definitely know I love this series because I'm enjoying reading this shit, and I was able to catch something I didn't catch the first time.
You really need to sit down and read JJK like 4 or 5 times to understand some shit.
Yeah.
Like,
So, when it comes to Spy X, I don't think the series has necessarily gotten bad. I'm not gonna say that. I just think my enjoyment level for it has diminished. I think I've gotten bored of it.
yeah.
Because like even like I'm not that huge fan of like Yos Fam and all that stuff like that. Especially this past chapter. This past chapter was I wouldn't say rough, but
It moved. It's like fucking filler to real time Naruto. It's like they moved 5 feet.
yeah. So it's just like I think one of my big issue with Yos Fam too is that the fights, man. The fights. Oh my god, the fight choreography for Yos Fam, it just doesn't appeal to me as it should. It's funny too because the series definitely feels like it's been inspired by Hitman Reborn.
Yeah.
I can see it, but at the same time, like it doesn't really have like the same charm. I do like Tayo and what's that girl's name? His wife's relationship. I forgot her name.
Mutsumi.
Asumi.
Mutsumi. Yeah.
Yeah, Mitsumi. So I do like their relationship. I like the relationship between all the siblings, but the fights leave a lot to be desired.
Oh yeah.
And
they've had some good fights, but they really don't know how to nail that consistently.
I mean, comparatively to its competition in the magazine, I'd put him at like 7th or 8th, maybe. Yeah. Like, and that's like behind like Mashle, Sakamoto Days. Like even Sakamoto Days fights are extremely fun to watch. I should say, like Sakamoto Days, like hell, I didn't even think Witch Watch has like better fights in my honest opinion.
Yeah.
Like,
so the train fight was my Facebook cover photo for a while, Luke. It definitely was a good fight. But that's one of the rare occurrences where they nailed it. Witch Watch being above it, I don't know. It's pretty close between those two.
Honestly, it might just be, like I said, it might be just the adrenaline rush. Cause I really enjoyed this latest chapter of Witch Watch, so it might just be biased.
I haven't read the last 2 chapters of Witch Watch because I've been saving them for Comic-Con.
Honest, it might be just biased because I'm a huge fan of this guy. Sket Dance is probably one of my favorite series to read of all time. So, like, the bias is definitely there.
Just a little bit there.
But, besides that, like fight wise, and that we could change that to another topic too. But my last thoughts about that, Is Yos Fam better than Spy X? To me personally, I think so. Better characters, better moments.
Yeah.
Not doesn't feel like it's dragging for some fucking reason.
Yeah, I want to just weigh in here. Like, and you've nailed the term there, dragging. And I noticed this when they were having trouble getting shit out on time. I'm like going back and rereading shit as, you know, the physicals were basically catching up with the actual series itself. That's the scary thought. Like, we are almost 1-to-1 between the physicals and the actual, like, we running series.
Keep talking, I gotta go pee.
Okay. But the one that I really wonder is, like, going back and rereading it, I'm noticing that, like, the plot has barely moved across here. So from the chapter 1 to now, there's 3 pieces on the fucking board out of an entire series that should have had 20, 30 pieces there. Astro Lost in Space is one of the favorite short manga series. I honestly, like, I have only seen that, you know, promoted here recently. I never read that, so that might be something we can read on stream so I can understand more about this author. But no, like, those barely moving pieces in Spy X Family still feel like they've barely progressed from day one. And whereas Yos Fam, by comparison there, it feels like we know a potential endgame halfway through what we've read. And then every time it's more and more fleshing out between those 2 points. And, like, with that many angles that you can take a story like Yos Fam and shit like that, it's a better structure than here is one spy mission, here is 14 chapters of slice of life, here is one spy mission, here are another 14 slice of life. And that's why I don't feel it's fair how much push Spy X Family's gotten, because it's barely told us anything. But yet it has this massive marketing campaign of, like, this is the new series. When you had better series, even while it was being serialized, like Soloist in the Cage, you had stuff like Abyss Rage, you've had Fire Punch running alongside it. You had so much better series than Spy X Family, and that's the one they chose to push. Because Cute Girl Who Can Read Minds, that's a better series and something that actually sits you down and makes you think and feel actual feelings other than, hey, let's move one puzzle piece a half a space across. Anyway, you back, Therm?
Yeah, I'm back. I mean, it's definitely, like, I think marketing. It's, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and take the credit away from the author for sure. The manga itself is still enjoyable, but at the same time,
it's definitely something I'm not going to sit down and make seven more videos out of. Like, this is why it's not on the channel.
Because I mean, like, Spy X itself, like, it's like I see why it appeals to people. But, like, even then, like, even Red, who's like a huge slice of life, you know, buff, it's just like he's getting, you know, slow of the series, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's not just us, you know. I feel like the series is just sort of in a spot right now where you're either gonna get tired of it or you don't. Because I'm reading, like, Spy X. I'm not really missing anything about Spy X right now, you know what I mean? Like, I have better stuff that I'm reading, you know. Like, if I want to read something similar to Spy X, you know, I can go to Yos Fam or Sakamoto Days.
Exactly.
With Sakamoto Days being better than both, in my opinion.
Right. I will even agree there. Like, it's definitely, out of the spy series we've done, like, it was definitely the most fun to review. Like, I do enjoy talking about Yos Fam. I do enjoy talking about, you know, when there's good happening in Spy X Family, I'm like, okay, this is a cool thing that's happening. But it's definitely a series that, you know, I'm just not going to sit down and actively read anymore, because, like, I feel like I would enjoy it more if I had, like, 5, 6, 7 chapters of it sitting there to consume all at once. And I feel like that's how the author has intended this to be written, or to be consumed, you know, because it takes about that long for something major to happen, and then you're like, oh, hype for the next batch of it. the next volume, basically. So yeah, I think that's pretty well wrapped up on Spy X.